Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Out of the Park Baseball 24 with the Chicago Cubs. And we finished off last episode at the deadline. It was a pretty good month of July for us. Again, I mean, I talked about this in the last episode. If you can play 500 ball and then you have a month where you go 20-8, that's going to really help things. So we went 36-17 in July and August, and a 36-17 2-month span deserves a like, a subscribe, and a comment on the video. That would be great. Thank you guys. September's been a bit more difficult for us. We're 8-10 rather, in the month of September, but we are firmly in the postseason race. Looks like Cincinnati is going to take the Central this season, but we are in the top wild card spot, a game ahead of the Dodgers. Things have come crashing down to earth for the Cardinals here since the beginning of the season. They were 38-15 in May and June, and they have been significantly under 500 since the beginning of July. So talked a little bit about that Pythagorean record. They were 9 games over. Let's see where that is. Regression to the mean, right? Standings. They're still 7 games over their Pythag. So we actually should be in first place if you just look at the Pythagorean record. Cincinnati's playing 4 games over. We're playing 4 games under. So I don't see anything here that stands out. It's just, yeah, we've hit a rough patch here. We've lost like, 6 out of 7 or something. So it was a bad end to my sim offline. We lost Ronald Acuna for a couple of weeks. Casey Schmidt is back in a couple of weeks as well. So I think we called up Trevor Story to why is it? Called up Trevor Story due to injuries, and he's gone 6 for 17. So just not for nothing. But so I think Tommy White will come in and be the DH against lefties with Story backing him up. And then against righties, we have Corona at third, right, because we have no Casey Schmidt. So I think we just go Tommy White is our DH here until we get Ron back. Yeah, so let's keep going. Yeah, offenses. I mean, our offense has been fine. We're middle of the pack. We're 6th in the National League. We don't do it via home run or speed. It's all batting average and on base percentage, which I'm fine with. Katowski's the only player on our team with more than I think Acuna's got 20 home runs, but the majority of those, yeah, he had 12 of them with Detroit, and Casey Schmidt's got 10. So we don't have a lot of power. Padres are a half game behind us. So this is kind of a battle here for that top wild card spot. And first game is a loss. So we continue to struggle here down the stretch. There's a 5-0 win. So Gausman can come back. I DFA'd him because I needed to get Keegan Aiken up with the big team. So I think at this point we can put Acuna on the injured list. Call him up. So we win 5-0 here. So that's a big win for us. Wow, Mullinax. Why can't he develop like this for me? That's a monster season. Wow. All right, Katowski with another home run. He's 44th of the year. Paddock is 17-5. That was a solid 1-year signing that we made there with Chris Paddock. He has been our best pitcher this season. All right, so we have Brash on the hill today. We win 2 out of 3 against the Padres. Medellin 3 hits. Torres 3 hits, hitting almost 340 as a rookie. RJ Mayers sunk below 200, that contact down to a 35. This is likely it for RJ, as we have Drew Burris ready to go, and he's only slightly worse. So he is that next backup outfielder for us. All right, we got St. Louis. Let's see if we can just knock them out here. And as always, this will be the postseason / off-season episode. Hopefully it's a long postseason, but we'll see. So we lose the first game to St. Louis. That's not good. Lose the second game to St. Louis. Equally not good. We finally win. We win the third game, 13-6. So we have a 3-game lead on St. Louis and the Dodgers and a 5-game lead on the Giants. So we should be closing in on a playoff berth here. Torres, 349 for Michael Torres, 5 RBIs. We drafted him last year, guys. Drafted him last season, and he's putting up 4.5 WAR in his rookie campaign. Katowski, that was a trade that that I'm glad we made. 45 home runs, 114 runs knocked in. We got Arizona. I think they've slipped a bit. They're 80 and 72. Yeah, so let's look at our magic number for the postseason. It's 5. Okay, so we're not quite there yet. We just win some games. It won't be an issue. Win there, so it's down to at least 4. Paddock with another win. He's now got 18. Mikey Romero, 3 hits and 5 plate appearances. Corona, 3 for 4. We get Schmidt back in a week. Acuna back in 5 days. So we'll be healthy for the postseason, assuming no one gets hurt between now and then. 5-0 with Brash on the hill. How does Burns do today? We kicking over to the next month. Is that what this delay is? We are going to have to add another bat in the offseason. We don't have enough power. We win 7-0. So let's see what sorts of upgrades we get here. Palencia gets a little better. Flores gets a little better. Nothing really major. 7-0 victory with Burns on the hill. He's 14-8. Katowski, 3 hits. I never thought he'd hit 280. I mean, I assumed he would be a 240, 250 hitter because that's what he's been every year. He's given us 5.5 WAR. All right, so Acuna back in 3, Schmidt back in 5. Washington. That magic number should be at, I was going to say, should be at worst 3. We have just clinched another postseason berth. We aren't going to win the division for the first time in a couple of years, but we make the postseason, and that's all that matters. Washington now. So we're in that wild card, so we can potentially 6-run 8th. We can potentially set up our bullpen here, our rotation here a little bit over the next handful of games. Is it just Washington? We were at 147 games? 157 games. So we have 5 games left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so that'll be a full run through the rotation, which I think is okay. Means we should be able to be starting either Paddock or Burns on opening day. All right, so Acuna's ready to come back. Let's just rehab assignment until the season's over. I don't need to mess with it right now. Don't need him getting hurt. We win this one 3-1. Katowski with 46 home runs now. Paddock, did he get the win? No, he didn't. He only went 3 1/3 innings, and he's got a sprained ankle. Cool. Torres, Katowski, Campbell all homer. Campbell's having a great 73 runs knocked in. All right, so 2 games left. 3 games left. 1, 2, 3. I don't want Burns pitching that game. I think we just sit him out. I don't really want Santana pitching either. Yeah, so... Yeah, all right. So we swept the series. We get Milwaukee for 3, so I am going to take Burns out, take Santana out. We'll put Aiken in as a starter. And who has the best stamina of our relievers? Wilmer Flores. We'll put him in the rotation as well. And then Santana, we will bench him for 5 days. And Burns, we will bench him for 5 days as well. No reason to run the risk of either of them getting hurt. Gauss, actually, you know what? Let's throw Gaussman out there. So we'll do Brash, Aiken, Gaussman in our final 3 games of the season. Schmidt eligible to come off the DL. We will rehab assignment him as well. Given where the season started, the fact that we're going into this last game of the year with a chance to win 94 games, I'll take it. Katowski and Corona both homer. Can we win the final game of the season with Gaussman pitching today? Yep. So a 94-win season. Given that we were basically a 500 team for the first 2 months of the year, I will take it. Torres finishes the year at 343. Gaussman goes 8. Yeah, I mean, given that we were 2 games under 500 at the start of July, we were 26 and no, we were over 500 because of April. But at the start of July, we were 27, 40, and 36. Is that right? 40 and 36 at the start of July. I will take where we ended up. 100%. 100% I will take where we ended up. Let's just get to the playoffs, and then we'll look at the stats, and we'll set our rosters and stuff. So we finished 5th in runs scored, 1st in runs against. So we continue to do playoff roster. Do we have to sim through today? Yeah, we do. All right, so we had the ERA crown, the pitching crown, the home run champ, and the batting champ all this season. So that's the first time we've had those. We get them all in the first season, so go us. All right, playoff roster. We will take Story off of it. We will take... Domis was so bad, but I think there's value. We'll take Gaussman off of it. Eligible for playoff roster. Casey Schmidt. And Acuna. That's it, right? Yep. All right. So lineups. Acuna comes in as the DH. Acuna comes in as the DH. Casey Schmidt as the third baseman. Casey Schmidt. Man, I really hope we can potentially end Casey's time as a member of the Cubs with another World Series win. He's been so good for us this year, not quite as much, but he also missed 40 games. So the counting stats aren't quite there, but we will go never because I don't want them messing with the lineup. I'm okay with defensive replacements, but I don't want... My lineup is my lineup. We got RJ Mayer backing up in the outfield. We can bring McCracken in as our defensive sub at second. I'm okay with that. We got the Dodgers. Okay. I don't think we've played the Dodgers yet, so I'm okay with that. That's interesting. Yeah, and we will look at sets. 5.7 WAR out of Katowski this season. 4.7 for Torres in his rookie campaign. I mean, is he the rookie of the year? I sure hope so. 4.3 out of Campbell, 4.2 out of PCA. Yeah, good offensive year. Some good numbers. Man, I hope Romero can stay healthy next year. Corona, Mayer, Aliendo, or Corona and Mayer were our only two negative WAR players. We have to replace Corona next year. He's fine in a backup role, but as a starter, it's a black hole. So I think we're in pretty good shape for next season. Acuna likely opts out. I mean, we're only paying him half of his contract or something, but he'll probably opt out given he just put up 3 WAR this year. I mean, if he doesn't, I'm gladly keep him for $7 million. But offensively, it was a good year. Good year. Not a lot of power, but some good numbers across the board. Pitching wise, Paddock, Santana, Burns, our top 3 starters were all really, really good. Burns, his option did vest, so we'll see what happens next year with his ratings. But given, he's gone, that's 32, 46, and 21 in 3 seasons for us. Wow, it tells me right there, 46 and 31. He's been really good. Paddock was elite, considering what we signed him for. Does he win the Cy Young? Won the ERA crown, had the most amount of wins. Wants 4 years at $23 million. I mean, I'll offer him a qualifying offer, and at a minimum, we get a draft pick for him. All right, so our rotation in the first round is Burns, Paddock, Santana, with Brash, no Contreras as our 4th. Brash will go back into the bullpen as a long reliever. We'll bring everybody in an inning later. Vinicio ended up okay. Season ended up fine. Wasn't obviously nearly as good as it was the past couple seasons, but 3.75 ERA. Once we got out of June, so he was awful in May. Put him back in the bullpen in June. Looked like he had to rediscover himself. Was electric in July, was okay in August, and then was amazing in September. So, he came back and that was good. That was good. Cool. High leverage, and high leverage. All right. So we got the Dodgers. 91 and 71 Dodgers, 4th in runs scored, 4th in runs against. They're without Urias and Mookie for this series. A lot of offense here, though. Junior Garcia was somebody we looked at trading for in the offseason. He had a good year. Joey Weimer with 31. A lot of home runs. Yeah, 1st in the National League in home runs. 240 home runs on the season. They're going with Miller, Stone, and Tristan McKenzie. Gavin Stone just made his big league debut in real life yesterday, I think. Day before yesterday. So they got a good offense. I am confident in my ability, though. Pitching staff. Corbin Burns is our number 1 starter, and he should be healthy. Or not healthy. He should be rested, I should say. Yes. All right. All right, guys. Let's get to the postseason. Taking on the Dodgers as we look for, I think this is our 4th straight? Our 4th straight playoff appearance? 5th straight. 5th straight playoff appearance. 1 World Series crown to show for it. Let's see how this goes. Bobby Miller against Corbin Burns at home goes to the Dodgers. We lose 8-4. Not good. Chourio, 3 RBIs. Garcia and Weimer, they hit 3 home runs. Yeah, Weimer hit 1. Garcia hit 1. Kotowski drove in 3. Burns didn't make it out of 5. All right. Now we got Paddock going here in game 2. We got to win both games. Paddock and Santana in games 2 and 3. And we get swept. So that is a really, really quick postseason. Garcia went 5 for 8 with 2 home runs and 5 runs knocked in. Our starting pitching failed us. No other way to explain it. Our starting pitching failed us, so we make the postseason, but we lose in the wild card round. So we will go ahead now and sim up to the International Showcase. And I guess we get the offseason started. Not quite what I wanted. Ooh, just moved my whole desk. Okay. Sorry, I was looking at my phone. Because that's what we do, right? We all just look at our phones all the time. All right, pitchers. Dominic Mullet. His nickname is Dirty. He looks pretty okay. He wants $4 million, so we're going to ignore that. I am, however, going to look at Jared Sheila. 75 movement, 75 control, 4 good pitches. He only wants $210,000, so we will invite him. Yeah, I'm not going to invite either of these guys that want $4 million. Here's another one, Arturo Padilla. David Aguilar. I don't like the movement. I don't like the low work ethic. Ayala's not a starter. Although, I mean, he's 16 years old. Maybe he develops into a reliever. I don't know. We can invite him. I liked his other ratings, the other potential ratings that were there. Sana, 1.2. Ramon, an actual shortstop, 1.4. Ceballos, good work ethic. Gallardo, low work ethic. And we'll invite him to Paniagua. A lot of guys that don't want a lot of money, but that's good because maybe we can sign, 3 or 4 of these guys. All right, let's continue on with the postseason. Astros are up 2-0 on the Mariners. Rays and the Sox are tied at 1. Padres up 2-0 on the Nationals. Reds are up 2-0 on the Dodgers. So we still have our 1 World Series. Want more, but we still have our 1. J.D. Davis and Gene Segura both retired. That is fine. Reds up 3-1. Padres up 3-1. Rays and Astros are up 2-1. Mariners tie it up. Rays take a 3-1 lead. It's going to be the Reds and the Padres in the NLCS. Yep. Reds, Padres, Mariners, Rays. The Reds have been really good. I've found this through most of the 24 playthroughs that I've done, that the Reds, for some reason, always end up simming really well. I don't know if they, I don't know if they've won a World Series, and I get this one and my White Sox one confused, so I don't know if they have won in ours or if they won in the White Sox, but they always sim pretty well. The Padres and the Rays. I wonder if that's the longest distance between AL and NL competitors. I would think the Red Sox and Dodgers would be right there, but I wonder if that's the biggest the largest distance between 2 teams for the World Series. Practice again. Cool. All right, let's go into the playoffs end. So the Rays and the Padres battling for the 2029 World Series in our world. Rays take a 1-0 lead, a 2-0 lead. Padres get a game back. Rays are up 3-1. And the Tampa Bay Rays win the 2029 World Series. Behind Wander Franco, Mason Auer. All right, so let's see what our budget looks like and see what we're going to be dealing with here in the offseason. So, team owner changed. Tom Ricketts sold the team to Ben. Yes! Fiscal personality, generous. Let's go. Let's go. Love it. The Ricketts family got rid of the Cubs. Thank you. We got Burns next year, Acuna, yep, as expected. New budget, $200 million. Oh, let's go. Let's go. You got to love that. That's such a good feeling when you get an owner that's willing to spend some money. All right, owner goals. Are there any that we want to change? Not that it matters, right? Like, if the owner goals impacted like how much money they gave us, that one will do. Yeah, those are fine. I don't know that we can build a top 6 farm system given the way our team is built, but we will see. All right, so we have a new owner. That is awesome. A lot of stuff going on. Tigers fire their manager and their GM. Let's go. That makes me happy. All right, so let's look at arbitration. Oh boy, we got a lot eligible for arbitration. Paddock. Yep, we will offer him. If he comes back at 21 for 1 year, I'm fine with that. Casey Schmidt, same thing. We'll offer him the qualifying offer. All right, so that's a lot of money invested into a lot of people. Drew Romo, I think it's time to move on from Drew. It looks like there are some options if we're willing to just take on a bullpen arm. I mean, I would rather not, but I'd rather not be a bullpen arm. But if those are the only options, and those are the only options, right? He looks okay. Andrew Hoffman. Is it arbitration? No, it's the league minimum. Goes to U. Went to U of I. Good for him. Riskeel Tineo. Fragile. Let's look at prospects. Josh McGrig's really good defensively. Don't know that he ever hits enough, but really good defensively. Same thing with Tyrese Garces. Really good defensively, but I don't know that he ever hits enough. What if we add Carson Coleman? I think his time is done. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't particularly good last year. Does that make it better or worse? Looks like maybe a little bit better. Some of the same names are still there, but yeah, they're both. Garces has gotten better if you look at his scouting. That was a year ago, though. Those are the overalls. His overall got better, but none of his actual ratings have gotten better, which is weird. Better defensively. Saw the 70 and my eyes got all wide until I saw what the contract was. Yeah, so it doesn't really change much. All right. Excuse me. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. Please don't hate me. and that doesn't really help because of his ARB number. Colton Cowser. Yeah, I mean, we're getting some new names on here when we add RJ. Isn't a huge surprise. He's not very good defensively. Got some speed. Hit 300 last year. I think I need to just make the decision, right? Like I need to just pull the trigger and say, all right, this deal is good enough. I think that's kind of what needs to happen here, right? Platoon issues. He has platoon issues, I guess. Enriquez. He was really good last year. All right, let's just back out for a second. I think I'm kind of getting, I don't want to say getting ahead of myself, but I think there are contracts that I can sign, right? So let's look at Nunez. He wants 6.8. So the max we can offer is 6.4. I don't know that he takes 6.4. He does. Okay, cool. So let's look at all these players that we can offer less than 6.4 to. Mikey Romero wants 3.3. So 3.150. 3.2. Campbell wants 4.8, which feels like a bargain. Will he take an extension? I can't imagine that he goes for this, but yeah. So let's offer him the 4.5. 4.6. Wilmer Flores. Jake Eater. Yeah, we want to sign Eater because he's extremely popular. 3.650. Flores was really good last year for us in a relief role. He's a good swing man. Bring him back at 2, probably 2.45 or 2.5. Yeah, all right, 2.45 works. Contreras at 3.2. Bring him back at 3. 3.1. 3.050. All right. So we are going to have to free up some money to bring back some of these other people. Schwellenbach, I think I want to bring back again because of the popularity. He's not willing to negotiate because we had him in AAA all year. I think we're done with Wagner. So we can just go ahead and release. Does anybody want Coleman? If nobody wants Coleman, I think we just release him. Let's see if anybody is interested in Carson. No. What about a regular? Not at those prices. So I think we waive Carson Coleman. What does that do for our finances? It gives us a little bit more money. So we're up to 11 million now. So we can sign anybody who's making less than 11, basically. So that will include Dax Fulton. He wants 7.3, so 6.9. Nice. He's another popular one, so that should give us a fan interest bump. So we've got Santana, Vinicio, Crow Armstrong, and Mayer. I need to bring PCA back at least for one more season. So I think now is the time to just move on. Just find the best deal we can get and just call it a day. I think it was Andrew Hoffman making the minimum. Connor Brandon making the minimum. Jackson Phipps ARB number is 3.7. He's coming off a 2.7 WAR year. I mean, I think there's some. I mean, he's basically Matt Brash, right? I mean, those are basically the same numbers as Brash. So yeah, let's do Jackson Phipps. Let's do Jackson Phipps. Let's go ahead and submit that offer. We'll sim ahead a day. That should free up some money. 20-year-old Juan Tapia, sure. All right. So fans don't like the fact that Drew Romo left. Fan interest is at an 82. That should jump up relatively quickly once we start signing some of the players that we sign. All right, so Phipps was at 3.7. So we can offer him 3.5, or we'll take 3.6. Take 3.6. All right, so now we should have enough money to sign Santana, Vinicio, Armstrong. So Armstrong wants $15 million. So we offer him 14.5. 14.6, 14.7, 14.8. All right, so $14.8 million for 1 year for Pete Crow Armstrong. Jeremy Santana, 17.5. No, thank you. What about 16.5? 16,750. Okay. Him's re-signed to a 1-year deal. And then I'm just curious, what can we get for Vinicio? Anything that would be worth it? Or is it just worth it to us to sign him? Ellie De La Cruz, $25 million arbitration number. No, thank you. We do need a bat, right? We were talking about how we needed a bat in the middle of our lineup. So maybe if that exists, but not $22 million for De La Cruz to a division rival. So Frelick had a good year, but he's not what we're looking for. And not really anybody here that is what we're looking for. There might be once we get to like the off season, like once we get to free agency, but nothing right now. Yeah, nothing right now. So I think we just sign him. He wants 15,750. Will he take 15? He will. All right. And then RJ. Anybody want RJ? Or do we? I can't imagine we just release him. Maybe we try to trade for a minor leaguer that is him, just younger. Whoa! Wasn't expecting this. I mean, not that any of these players are elite. My guess is they're all probably flawed in some way, but more options than I anticipated there would be. Bitsko won 19 games last year. What's his ARB number? 4.6. He's got some pretty nasty splits too, though. All right, I think we just hold on to him. 1.716. 625. All right. So the only one who hasn't who's not interested in talking to us, to Schwellenbach. What does Acuna want? More than I'm willing to pay. And then minor leaguers. I think we just go in and just offer contracts to all of them. See who's willing to resign. And we start simming ahead. So that was a lot to do with arbitration. But, man, that new owner's immediately gave us a $20 million bump. Immediately. So we don't get a fan interest bump for Jake Eder, even though he is extremely popular, which is interesting. We do get one for Eduardo Nunez. We do get one for Mikey Romero. We do get one for Mike Campbell. So that bumps us up to an 85. It looks like we will be able to invest some money into scouting this year as well. We got player development up at $30 million. Dax Fulton, no fan interest bump for Dax Fulton either. We still got Santana, Vinicio. Yeah, I mean, we still have some of our big names, so hopefully we'll get bumps on those guys. Yep, we do get Pete Crow Armstrong. We do get a fan interest bump there. We get a fan interest bump for Vinicio, and we do get a fan interest bump for Santana. So that puts us at an 88 as we get ready to move into free agency. We are going to take some hits because we're going to lose Acuna. But I think we can make up for that. All right. Gold Gloves. Let's see the American League Gold Gloves there. In the National League, Jeromo wins it. He's now with the Phillies. Jeromo and Pete Crow Armstrong win it. So we won a couple of Gold Gloves. Reliever of the year in the AL, Jesus Luzardo for Minnesota, now a reliever. And in the NL, David Bednar, 6-4 with a 2.43, wins it over Nunez, who is 2-5 with a 1.01 ERA. Interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that, but all right. Jackson Phipps. Platinum Stick. AL, you can see some of the names there. In the National League, Alvarez, Soto, Cup, De La Cruz, Lawler, Mullinax, and left, Morabito, Mookie Betts, and Junior. Really, so he did put up 6.5, 24 home runs, 44 stolen bases for Mullinax. Why can I never get that sort of development out of Mike? Rookie of the year in the AL, Jamari Modest. He was somebody we were looking to trade for at the deadline. Casey Sauk II has developed into a really nice player, drafted in the 17th round by the Reds, using him as a two-way player. I don't know that he's a good enough pitcher, but that's a good bat. Michael Torres finishes second, does get some first-place votes. Manager of the year, Kevin Cash, and me. Okay, Ryan Sandberg. I won it. Wasn't expecting that, but okay. Cy Young in the AL, Luis De Leon, 18-10, 3.03. And in the NL, Jose Ferrer, coming off of a 19-0 season with Arizona, goes 13-12. Corbin Burns finishes 5th. Santana 7th. Paddock 8th. 196 innings, 321 strikeouts. He is pretty darn good. And the MVP in the AL goes to Brian Rocchio of the Guardians. Then Michael Mullinax wins the National League Most Valuable Player. Katowski finishes second. Go Dakota. Finishing second in the MVP voting. Did pick up 10 votes. That was a relatively close vote. That's the closest I think we've had to an MVP in this playthrough. All right, Hall of Fame voting. We'll let the AI do the Hall of Fame voting. You guys know I don't really care about that. Because I'm not convinced that my votes actually do anything. All right, arbitration. We just have Schwellenbach. Oh, okay. So Casey Schmidt accepted the qualifying offer. So we're bringing Casey back for one more year, which is probably a good thing. Paddock filed for free agency. Let's get to said free agency. So we get Casey back for one more season. I'm okay paying him. Where are we financially? We have a little bit of money, not much. We have a little bit of money, but we have a third baseman. Our starting catcher will be Brad Hall. Necker's not quite there. We do have to put him on the 40-man, though. He'll start in AAA along with Alkins. Jackson. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Why did it put the active roster there? Damn. All right, well. I mean, it doesn't matter. They're both, they'll both be on the team next season, so it's not a huge issue, but that's just annoying. Burris will be on the big league roster. All right, let's look at those international guys. Yeah, so we don't have a lot of money, but that's because Casey Schmidt re-signed with us. Oops. Yeah, not a lot there. Vlad is available. All right, let's go into free agency. Let's see what we see. Oh, Paddock wants a lot of money. I hope he gets it. But batting ratings. I guess before we do that, let's figure out what we need, right? Let's start with pitching. So right now our rotation looks something like this. Not terrible. Burns, Santana, Contreras, Phipps, Eater. We do need some bullpen arms. I mean, for now, we can go Gonzalez and we can go Angulo, but I don't know that those are long-term options. So I think we do need a couple of bullpen arms. I think our rotation's probably fine for now. Lineup-wise, our starting catcher is Hall. Medellin is our first baseman. Mikey Romero is our second baseman. Mike Campbell is our shortstop. Casey Schmidt is our third baseman. Katowski is our left fielder. PCA is our center fielder. Torres is our right fielder. So really, we just need a bat. Vlad's the best bat out there, and he wants $28 million. It's more than I'd like to pay. Encarnacion Strand, he only wants $19 million, and it doesn't require a qualifying offer. If we can make our team better while making Cincinnati worse, and he wants 5 years. What if we gave you 3 years? The first year, that's right, we only have like $12 million. Have any contracts that we are wanting to move? Let's do this. Let's see if Vinicio can bring us back a bat. Hang on a second, guys. I got to answer this text message. All right. Not really a bat there that screams, this is the guy you want to trade, one of the best relievers in the game for. About PCA. Jason Dominguez is a better bat, not as good a fielder. He's fragile. His contract expires this year. 26. It's sort of the same issue we ran into last year, right? Like, do we want to make the trade for somebody who might hit, might not hit? I don't mind the Dominguez move, really. Let's just, they can't afford that. Let's try this. Not really close. About 25%. We still want Michael Torres. Can't have Michael Torres. Let's just try that. I mean, I'm not keen on trading PCA, but from a defensive perspective, we can replace him. Right? If we trade him, we can replace him. We've got both Burris and Mayer, who can replace him in center field defensively. But what we might do is move Torres to center and then play Garcia in right and have Burris be that defensive replacement out in the outfield. That gives us two huge bats in the middle of the lineup. Mike Campbell. Nope. About 10%. Okay, we're there with 10%. So, making this deal gives up Pete Crow Armstrong, one of the best defensive outfielders in the game. He's a 3-time Gold Glove winner. This is the last year of his contract. I don't know that we would re-sign him, truthfully. And in return, we'll bring back Junior Garcia, who likely just plays DH for us, but is that everyday DH and absolutely will crush the baseball. So having him and Katowski now in the middle of the lineup gives us a ton of power. I think we go ahead and do this. Okay, so what does that do to the fan interest? It keeps it even. All right, so we don't have much money left for this year, but now our lineup looks like this. Garcia in at DH. And I think Burris in as our starting center fielder. Yeah, we're not going to lose much defensively with Drew Burris out there in center field. So I really like this. We still have our backup infielder in Danny McCracken. Tommy White as our backup. And Corona as a backup Aliendo. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I want to look at pitchers, popularity. Who's the most popular pitcher that we can afford that isn't just awful? Alcantara wants $13 million. Wouldn't mind bringing in Sandy, but that's more than we can afford. Same thing with Bueller. Burrows only wants $2 million. He's extremely popular. Tariq Skubal. Jugger wants 12. I'm not doing that. Lauer was pretty good last season. We could probably bring in. And we did say we need a couple of relievers. So let's talk to Mike Burrows. He wants 1 year, $2 million. So let's offer him $175. Let's talk to Eric Lauer. What's 1 year, 2.6. So we should be able to do what, like 225. Yep. All right. Let's see how those signings go. Oh, we have to. No, we don't. I think we already did this for the month. No, we didn't. All right. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing here. Sheila still very low league interest. A lot of these guys have very low league interest. That's really good. So let's sim a bit. All right, so yeah, that not a surprise. We dropped from an 88 to an 83. Paddock signs elsewhere. We got a first round pick, and he signed a 4 year, $77 million. It's not a terrible contract, although he is going to be getting old by the time it ends. So hopefully these two relievers that we sign can make up some of that difference. And if not, I'll just have to get creative here in the rest of the offseason and bring in some popular players. We lose Acuna, so that's going to drop us down to what, an 80? Oh, boy. Okay. That's not good. That's not good. Hopefully those relievers sign. Nothing yet. Winter meetings. Trade block. Freed is extremely popular, but he's hurt. Cantorino is 32 years old. What about batters? Oof. $43 million. You do you, my man. Trout on the block. Brian Reynolds on the block. Alec Thomas. All these guys are in the final year of their contract, which makes sense, right? I mean, they're all in the final year of their contract. All right, we're just gonna sim. All right, so we get a bump for Eric Lauer. So it takes us from an 80 to an 82. Not great, but okay. We can get another 2-point bump for the other guy. Burrows, yeah, we only have $1.6 million left. That's not great, but Bregman wants 9.5. Goldie wants 16 million. I had a good year last year. Still hit lefties. Olsen wants 16. You can still hit righties a bit. Let's get to the Rule 5. All right, we are at the Rule 5. Anybody we got to put on the 40-man? I think we'll put Schwellenbach on there because I can't afford that that fan interest bump. Carter Smith. Kurt Lozano because he's developed out of nowhere. Do a 70 movement. I think that's it. Let's get into the Rule 5. We lost Nick Allen. That is fine. Excuse me. Anything here? Any young pitchers? Because we do technically have a spot on our rotation for a young pitcher that we could just stash the back of the bullpen. Alex Garcia, no. What about batters? It doesn't. I will say, Out of the Park Baseball 24 has done a much better job of limiting the number of like all-stars, top 100 prospects that show up on the Rule 5. That was it was very easy to build a team via the Rule 5 in previous seasons, but not so much with this one. Not really anything there. Just go ahead and complete the draft. Let's sim to the next month. January 1st. All right. One more practice. Cool. So it looks like Ayala and Sheila we should be able to get relatively cheap. And then we'll just have to pick which bat we want to go after. Oh, man. Revenue per game is dropping. Fan interest. My guess is the owner takes money away from us unless we sort this out somehow. I mean, I think one of the answers is signing some of these players. Like, we've got a lot of players whose contract expire. I don't want to sign Corbin Burns. I'm just terrified of signing a 30-year-old pitcher, 35-year-old pitcher to a long-term deal. Maybe Casey Schmidt. We take 3 years. We take not $2 million. No, he wants a long-term contract. 6 years. What if we do 5 years at 20? Okay, so it's the money. All right, so 4 years at 21. 21. About like that. So he really just wants $23 million. I feel like Casey's one of those guys that we need to keep on this team. But the popularity is just quote unquote popular. And I can't build my team around the popularity, right? Like that's just a bad way to do it. But he's been such a valuable member of our team, and we don't really have a third baseman ready to come up. Necker is probably not a third baseman when it's all said and done. He's probably a first baseman. Because right now we have enough money, I think, to potentially sign them both. If we talked to Burns and offered him 3 years at 25, he wants 5 years. All right, what if we tweak it a little bit here? What if we do vesting options at 160 innings for both seasons? He's down to 3 years now, so that's good. But it just means we got to offer a little bit more. 3 years, $26 million with a vesting option in that third season. Okay. We'll do it. I don't know if that's the right move, but we'll do it. All right, then we got $20 million left for other potential options here. And I think that other potential option is Casey Schmidt. But we got to figure out some way. So we have 20 minutes. So what if I give you 20 million for that year and I make this a vesting option needing 550 plate appearances? All right. I can't offer you more than that. How do I free up a couple $1 million to give Casey what he wants here? Can we do this? That makes up the difference, doesn't it? No, now he's pissed. All right, that's fine. Dax Fulton, what does he want? Nunez. $6.4, 13, 15, 18, no. But maybe. I mean, this flies in the face of everything I do as a organization, right? Yeah, I can't sign a reliever to a long-term contract like that. I just can't. All right, well, let's see if we get this contract with Corbin. All right. So fan interest is amazing, picking up Mike Burrows. So that gets us to an 89. That is good. We needed that. We should get the Burns one here before. Yep, we should get the Burns one before the preseason starts. So we get fan interest bump there too. Gets us up to a 93. So we have $28 million left for extensions. So we do have money that we can spend for next season if we want to. Let's see what this does to revenue per game here over the next, because preseason starts on the 29th. Let's see what this does over the next month. Okay. International amateurs. Trade proposal. Jason Dominguez. Holy hell. Jason Dominguez retaining 90%. All right, well, let's discuss this. You can't have Von Necker. If you're that eager to trade him, what can we do to help this along without giving up our future? Ernie went. Sug Gillen. No. Yeah, you can't have Von Necker. I'm sorry. Nope. All right, international amateurs. So let's look at all players. Let's look at our relationships. Let's start with Sheila. He wants 210, very low, so we should be able to get him for like 180. Sergio Ayala. I don't know. I would rather, I think, spend some of that money elsewhere, like on Luis Ramon. In fact, I think we just go heavy into Ramon. Offer him 4.6. That's 5.6. Still a little bit of money left. All right, so let's sim ahead a day or two and see if either of them sign with us. Or both of them sign with us. Would be even better. They both like our. Okay, so Sheila wants more money. 230. So we can offer him 500. Okay, so we sign Luis Ramon. Like that. All right, let's get back into international M. Actually, let's look at. Yeah, so we're still down a tiny bit. Is there anybody else that we want to sign? While we have the money. I mean, I think Nunez, if we can get him on a short-term deal, maybe take that. He wants the 3 years. So what if we do 9, 11, 13? No, I'm not intentionally trying to lowball you. I'm trying to save myself some money. What does Eater want? Okay, this is reasonable. And this will give us a bit of a bump, I think. Cool. That'll get us a fan interest bump too, I think. We can start the season at 90. I think that's good. And no notes yet on Sheila. Still nothing. We did sign him. Cool. So we bring in Sheila, and we have how much? $400,000 left. Anybody we want to sign for $400,000? That was the plan all along, right? So let's do that and see how that works. Okay, so we signed Eater. Got a fan interest bump there. Up to a 96. Excuse me. Revenue per game is up. So we got a couple of days here, which is good. They want to trade us Nathan Hickey. No, I'm good. Just get up to the preseason and see if he gives us an increase to our budget. And then we're going to call it an episode at that point. Oh, come on, really? No, we didn't get a bump. We will start a charity that's going to hurt us financially this season. But, all right. So I think we are in good shape. Casey Schmidt, I bet the contract demand comes down over the course of the season. We'll see what he starts asking for here as we go forward. But we pick up another big bat to help us in the upcoming season. Junior Garcia, back-to-back 40 home run seasons, pairing him now in the middle of the lineup with Dakota Katowski. PCA is gone. Drew Burris comes in as our starting center fielder. The rest of the offense looks pretty much the same. Pitching-wise, I think maybe we take a bit of a step backwards this year. We still have our back of the bullpen with Nunez, Vinicio, Fulton, and Palencia. Our rotation is a little different. Burns, Santana, Contreras. We got Jackson Phipps now to replace Matt Brash and Jake Eater out there. My guess is we're able to pick up a little bit of money over the course of the season, given our fan interest. So we might be able to do something here as we move on over the course of the season. But that's going to do it, guys. So let me know what you think of the deals we made here during the offseason. And we'll come back and it'll be opening day and it'll be ready to start year number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Year number 8. We have 4 straight 90-win seasons, 5 straight playoff appearances, and a World Series. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.